the reality. I have 3 sons and a daughter, and my daughter tells me that all the time. And my sons tell me, you're harder on Merit-Ella. And I'm like, I know I am, because she's a female, and I can't have her cry every time something goes wrong. I can't have her, I need her to be strong in order to make it, because she will go through, and she already has, a lot of criticism, a lot of doubt, a lot of, I'm not pretty enough or I'm not good enough. We all go through that, right? Hi everyone, this is Christina Rahm, and I am here with the beautiful, fabulous Keni, who is known all over, and will be known even more, hopefully from our audience, all over the world. But she shoots a show right now in Orange County, or she just finished. I'd like you to tell us about that. That's one part of you. We're going to get into a lot about you, as much as you're willing to tell us anyway. But I'd love for you to share what you're doing now, what you've done in the past, and then a little bit about what you're getting ready to do.
Wow. So I wrote a book. When I was going through divorce, I realized there's so many things I learned besides just being sad and everything. And I really wanted to teach women how to do it.
Yeah.
And the things I learned that helped me tremendously. And I didn't want to think about divorce as a sad thing. So I wrote a book that's called Divorce as an Opportunity. And it was also a point in my life where I wanted to prove myself that I can start all over and do something I never did before. So I did that. And now I'm working on the talk show. I always wanted to be in opera ever since I was, a little girl, touching the subjects that matters.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just about divorce. It's about eating disorders, body images in teenagers. There's so many amazing topics that, exactly like my book, that will give you the guidance. It will give you the answers, because the answers are out there.
Yes.
It's just a lot of people don't voice them, and sometimes it's because it's so much information, it's hard to navigate which one works, which one doesn't. And because I have teenagers, of course, as a mom, you go through so many stages and you learn so many things. I'm like, oh my God, I could be a therapist. Like,
oh yeah, I agree with you. You don't know. No one prepares you.
Nobody prepares you. Nobody prepares you. I was born in Moscow. So when I went the first time to my divorce attorney, and I realized how much rights I have as a woman.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, nobody teaches me that. Nobody teaches financial proficiency when you're in school. Everybody's like, as a woman, when you're born, everybody tells you, like, okay, well, you're going to, marry somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to have kids. And that's what's expected of you. But nobody really teaches you, well, what if I don't want to do it? What if I want to have a career? Like, how to start, how to have your saving account, and how to, start investing money. I mean, that's why I love my ex-husband, because that's what I told him. I said, teach me how to make money so I can buy my own bags. I never have to ask you. And he did. He was an amazing mentor. So in my book, I also teach financial proficiency from, where to start, how to budget yourself, how to know how much money to spend.
I love that you're doing that, because so many people don't understand that we're not, even in America, like, you're not in the United States, you're not always taught that as a child. I remember going into a business meeting, and someone said they were doing a performa, and they said, I bet you don't know what that is. And they were trying to cut me down because, and that day I remember thinking, I'm going to be a businesswoman, because I'm not going to have someone tell me I don't understand something. I'll just learn, right? Yeah. But no one, it was all men, it was me, and I'm not mad at any of them, but I'm wondering, why didn't anyone teach me that? Because we kind of had the same careers, and it just wasn't taught. And it wasn't taught when I was growing up. I remember when I first had children, and no one told me about giving birth and what happens after giving childbirth. And I remember thinking, why didn't anyone tell me any of that? There's all these things we don't know. So your book is addressing some of those,
yes.
Right?
Well, actually about childbirth, I was preparing for natural childbirth, and then I ended up with a C-section. I'm like, all that wasted time for what?
Yeah.
It's like, and then the second time I'm like, and the doctor's like, well, how would you want to deliver a baby? I'm like, why would you even ask me?
Yeah.
Like, I already did C-section. Of course I will do it the same way.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
why
yeah.
would I even
But there's still complications to a C-section.
Exactly.
Like, no one really educates you.
Thank God for me, I didn't have any. And
Yeah.
my girlfriends who delivered naturally, they did. That's why I was like, you know what? In Orange County at the time, it's like most women, even if you go for natural birth, you're going to end up with C-section.
That's
so why?
me. I had
so
3
why?
natural and 1 C-section. And I'm
So
like, why didn't they do a C-section the whole time?
I was like, why you even then, like ask you to go through that agony of trying to deliver and then you end up doing it anyway. I'm
Yeah.
all about, especially in this generation,
Yeah.
it's like when we have access to all the medical knowledge and
Yeah.
things like, hey, if it's the easiest, I go into the dentist, do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Like you want to have a baby, IVF, like I did the second one.
Yeah.
It's like, do it.
Yeah, you just do what you want to. I say this because people will say to me, "What do you think about plastic surgery? What do you think?" I'm like, I think women should do what they want to do with their
Exactly.
bodies. I really do.
Exactly.
I don't think, but I do like that you're trying to educate women on something that we traditionally, like we depend on our husbands, right? We think there's like this knight in shining armor, and I say this all the time. There never really is. We have to depend on ourselves, and we have to learn. But you said something that caught my attention. You said you wrote about your ex-husband in your book because he taught you things that really helped you. So it wasn't a bad divorce.
Well, no, the book is actually about divorce. It's a guide. It's
Yeah.
a guide how to get through divorce from the paperwork
Yeah.
It's a practical guide
Yeah.
with the paperwork that you need to prepare. What's a prenup if you have one, and funny stories
Yeah.
about it. It's how to tell your children.
Yeah.
What to do during divorce to change your mindset, because I believe that divorce, if you start shifting your mentality during divorce, started thinking about the future instead
Yeah.
of sitting and crying why it happened to me, and it doesn't matter, like
That's true.
it was my
Yeah.
decision, which sometimes making a decision is much harder versus
I agree.
facing one,
Yeah.
because then it's you
Yeah.
who are responsible for making all these people unhappy.
I agree,
It's
yeah.
on you. And I looked at it as this, like, okay, divorce is gonna be hard, but it's like college time. This
Yeah.
is for you to figure it out, what you want to do after you graduate.
Yeah.
And if you use that time wisely, that's how you start shifting the mentality. Like if you want to go back to work, this is your time to prepare. If you want to get a new degree, this is your time to prepare. If you don't know, your financial thing, this is the time to prepare. So I'm all about not wasting time. I'm all about changing. And of course, there's so many I put, I did the whole brain mapping because it helped me a lot.
I think brain mapping really helps.
Because I'm not the person who can meditate.
Yeah.
So I tried. And then when I went to brain mapping, they said, well, no wonder you can meditate because your brain is all over.
Yeah.
But I love that somebody can actually, go and manually change them.
Yes.
And I'm a big believer. Like for me, meditation was, I used to walk 2 hours a day. That's when I meditate. And then my friend told me, it's called a walking meditation.
Yeah.
So I put a lot of little practical things also to help you to calm your state of mind. Because, during divorce, it's a war. It's a war zone
Yeah,
that comes very fast. It becomes very scary.
Yeah.
It's like walking into the tunnel. It's like, oh my God, what did I
You didn't expect stuff.
You don't expect, because, like all my friends who went through divorce, they're like, oh, it's fabulous. And nobody talks how dark it gets so fast. And they're like, what they were talking about. And it's just finding that strength, and there's so much emotions going on. And I say, listen, like, you're gonna say things during divorce and hear that don't take it personally, because the person, you say things from pain, your spouse say things from pain. If you're just gonna learn just to brush it off, this is, it doesn't mean anything. You will get past through it. It's much easier.
Yeah.
And I also say that for men, divorce is a business deal.
Yeah,
We
it's true.
women, we take it so personally. And once you realize that actually, divorce is a legal lawsuit, it's a business transaction. And you need to start looking at it as a business transaction, nothing to it. And the most important thing for me was for my children to understand why I did what I did. It
That's
wasn't
what I was thinking,
anything personal. So my kids now, it's like, we understand you, Mom. I have amazing relationship with my ex-husband that I worked, because communication is the key.
Yeah.
You're going to have the best attorneys in the world, but unless you learn how to communicate, there's nothing works. You can drag we have divorces in Orange County last 6 to 8 years, and it's a years of misery. I always say that you can make more money, you cannot buy more time.
Right, exactly.
So
Yeah.
don't waste 6 years on arguing about a couch or something else.
No, I
Let
know.
it go. Start building,
Yeah.
start living life. And you know, my daughter, 2.5 years ago, she had adrenal tumor. It was after divorce. And this is where I really start appreciating and valuing time, because the past is gone. We're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Right.
All we have is right now. And if we're not going to start loving what we do, then we're gonna live in misery, and we're always
100%.
gonna wait for that perfect moment to start something or do something,
Right.
but that might never come.
Right. My dad had stage 4 advanced head, neck, and throat cancer, and he saw me going through a really hard time. I went through a divorce too, and he said to me, he calls me Sissy. He said, "Sissy, life's way too short to live and be unhappy. It's just not meant to be that way. You need to be happy. You need to do what you want." And that gave me the courage to really go through, because it's hard. And I'm with you. No one talks about how hard it is. I think it's because it's not a positive subject. And
I think because a lot of it's not about the positive. I think it's like this taboo subject that people are afraid to talk, especially as a woman who decided to,
Yeah.
because it's like, oh my God, you know how many messages I get? You ruined your family and your children's life. My children are the happiest people in the world.
Yeah.
And I told my children, you still have a loving mom and a loving dad and a family unit. You didn't lose anything.
Right.
I lost a husband. My husband lost a wife. Yes, you have to go from home to home, but
Yeah.
you still have a family unit.
And you're raising them
And
together.
we're raising some
Yeah.
families live together, but it doesn't mean their kids know their parents or spend as
Right,
much
right.
time. I have quality time now with my kids. I communicate with them. I do things with them. It's not about physically there with your child
Oh, no.
24/7.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
that's what's like when people start, it's like, you know what? It works for me.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't work for you, but it worked for me.
100%.
I did what I thought was right.
Yeah.
And a happy mother will make sure her kids are happy.
Well, you know what? You're speaking to the right person, because part of my dissertation in school was whether kids are happy or the mother works or doesn't work, or if they're divorced or married. The conclusion of my dissertation was they're happy if their family's happy and they feel loved. Doesn't matter the amount of time you spent with them. Doesn't matter what you really did for a living, if you're married or divorced. None of that. It matters you project, and that makes them feel like a person. If you're miserable, they're going to know it.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was interesting. I wrote a whole paper on it because and did I predict I was going to get divorced? No. But for me, I also didn't, if I'm really honest, marriage wasn't the end game for me. I wanted a career and a life. I wanted to help humanity. We all have these different things we
Yes.
want to do. And it wasn't like the end all goal for me. And even I could have adopted children. I knew I could have loved, just like you adopt a dog. I could have, I mean, it's a human soul just like it's an animal soul. But I think it's interesting you said that. I love that. It's your life.
Yes.
It's not someone else's.
You see, for me, I lost myself during my marriage. I didn't know who I was anymore.
Yeah.
It was all about my kids, my children, the family needs. I got a, broke real estate because that's what we did. I changed myself completely to the point I didn't know who I was. And I realized I don't think I would find myself without putting myself aside that.
Yeah.
And it takes, I also write about in this book, it takes the first 6 months. You're just like, oh my God, like, who am I? What am I doing? And it's okay to give yourself time to figure it out. There's no rush, You have
No.
the rest of your life, but
Yeah.
you need to get through that grieving process to start realizing, trying different things. I
Yeah.
tried everything. It's like, okay, who am I? What do I like?
Yeah.
Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? It was like, I remember the first time I went to Europe, and I was like, wow, it's just me going me. It's not like that I'm afraid to do it. I mean, I came to the United States, I was 19.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm used to living by myself. I know everything. It's just the feeling of doing it by myself.
Yeah.
And it's a sort of empowerment. It's like,
It is.
oh my God. It's like, now I'm like, I don't need a man because I know how to fix everything. It's
Yeah.
like, I know
Yeah.
who to call, what to do, how to, like, it doesn't get scary, but it gets to the point, like, if I want to spend my time with somebody, it has to be so meaningful.
But you found love again.
Yes, but I think I'm a type of person that, for me, love is my career and passion.
Yeah.
And love, only the person who will accept me as me and let me fly, never cut
Yeah.
my wings and guide me, that I will,
Yes.
will be my true partner. Other than that, I think I get so much joy by giving and helping women, and I do philanthropic work. I enjoy that more.
Yeah. So that's your passion. That's your
That's
love.
my passion. That's my love. It's like I just love to have the impact in this life that can help others, because a lot of people don't have voice.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes I'm the voice for people who cannot speak, who's afraid. That's why I want to do the talk show, just to help them to figure it out what it is. Because there's so many things, especially I think these days, with when I was growing up, there was no phones, internet, TikToks.
Yeah.
It's like an easy access, but it also confuses kids, teenagers, adults even.
Oh,
When
yeah.
you get so much information, I'm like, I would tell like my mom, I was like, oh my God, I think my computer has overload.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of this information, where you're like, what do you do with this all?
Is your mom still in Russia?
No, my mom is here. She moved when my kids were born, so she loves it. She raised me with an idea to move to another country. And my mom, since I was little, because she had a career, and she always like, you need to save money, you need to be so independent. But I remember as a child that I always wanted my mom, so I gave myself a promise, when I have kids, I would put my kids
Yeah.
before everybody, because
Yeah.
it's something I was missing as a kid.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do what I never had.
Yeah.
I'm a full-time mom. I mean, I still had a career, but it was all around my children.
Yeah.
And it's like I met my ex-husband when I was 23. I had my first child at 25. So my first, when
Yeah.
people build their careers, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. I mean, I did other things, but it just was my personal fulfillment, what I didn't have as a kid. And I'm actually happy that I'm starting my career now.
Yeah.
Because now my kids are older, and they see, especially my daughter, she sees me doing things. And we're the biggest examples to our children.
100%.
You can't tell them be kind if you're not kind.
Yeah.
You can't tell them
No.
like you can do it all if you are just sitting on that
100%.
couch. So they, they look at you and they're like, okay, mama's doing it, then I can do it.
100%. If they see you're scared, then they're scared.
Yes.
During all the stuff we've gone on in this world, I think that was probably my biggest example to my children. I wasn't scared. And I told them, we don't need to be scared.
Yeah.
We're smart. We're human beings. We'll make it through this.
Exactly.
And I, by the way, I used to spend 6 to 7 weeks in Russia and Ukraine a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've worked in so many countries, but I was there a lot, and I loved both countries. I really did. And it's funny, we have people in the office, one of our attorneys that helped write the books in Russia as far as law, and so we're around Ukrainians and Russians. I say that all the time because people don't understand this, but in our country, not everyone understands. A lot of Ukrainians came from Russia. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? It's
Yes.
a different. It was so interesting the first time I went to Ukraine, and they all told me they didn't speak Russian. And then after a while, I realized, wait a minute, everyone's speaking Russian.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's why for me the war was hard, because I have friends on both sides,
Yeah.
and it's like a war in any country. It's usually not the people.
Exactly.
It's the governments, yeah.
Yes.
And now we're having all this all over the world. So
Yes.
bringing that power to your kids, that they know you're there, that you love them, you're not scared. And even when you are scared, when I'm scared, I tell my kids, I am scared, but it's going to be okay,
Yeah.
because we're strong and we can overcome this. And divorce is kind of like a war. You're right at first. You go through, even when you think it's going to be easy, mine was not easy, because we had so many businesses and so many things together that to even unravel that was really hard for us. And it took a long time. And I'm like you, the faster you can get through that, the better, right? Because you
Yes.
need to move on. If you
Yes.
stay and you dwell on that, then you don't get over it. It's kind of like Stephanie was in here earlier. We all worked together, and she was talking about something that just happened today. It was a tragedy. And I've seen that because I've been in countries where the war's going on. I've seen people get shot. I used to be a psychologist. I've seen things. It's horrible. But if you dwell on those things and that's your focus, you don't move on, right?
Yeah.
And then you become depressed and anxious. And I think one of the things that's so great about what you have done and what you're doing is teaching people to be strong and to move on. It's not the end of the world. You can do things that are better even than you did before, just because there's an ending in a relationship of one format. And I want to say this. There's so many different types of relationships. You don't have to be married to
Yes.
love someone.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And you can still love someone you're not married to anymore.
Yeah.
Just in a different way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love
No,
that.
I totally agree with you. And you know, like I was raised by an extremely strong mom who would be like, don't cry. No crying. Like she would be always like pushing me, and maybe it's also a Russian mentality. Like
No, I don't know. I'm that way with my daughter. I always say, "Don't cry." I hate that about. I feel bad
like,
now.
But you know what I realized, because I have my daughter and I have my son, and I raise my daughter much stricter than my son.
That's how I am.
Yeah. And it's because I tell her, I'm like, you as a woman will go through so much more. So you have to be resilient. You have to build a thick skin.
Yes.
Because for guys, as long as they make money, they're good.
Oh, yeah.
For women, we are judged by other women all the time. That's a hard one.
It's so hard. It's hard.
And it's like, a lot of times you don't realize that woman faces so many obstacles, you know, just by being a woman, not just, you know, by another gender, by their own gender.
Yeah.
And that's the worst. And that's why it's like, I'm raising her tougher. It's like, no, don't do this, don't do that. And that's the reality.
It's the reality. I have 3 sons and a daughter, and my daughter tells me that all the time. And my sons tell me, you're harder on Merit-Ella. And I'm like, I know I am, because she's a female, and I can't have her cry every time something goes wrong. You know, I can't have her. I need her to be strong in order to make it, because she will go through, and she already has, a lot of criticism, a lot of doubt, a lot of, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not good enough. We all go through that, right? And people think because you've made it to a certain level, or you've been on a television show, or you've traveled or made money, that changes. It doesn't change. No. It's still hurtful, right? And so you still have to go through, you got to get past it and move on.
Actually, it's more. And like my daughter, she sings. She's, you know, she always was singing when she was a little girl, but when she was in the hospital preparing for her surgery, she wrote her first song, Fight's Not Over Yet. And she wants to be a musician. And sometimes once in a while, she's like, oh, Mom, like my friends, you know, like say things. I'm like, Alexis, you have to understand, the bigger you're going to get, the more stuff you're going to get. You're gonna
I'm so glad you said that.
Get used to that if you want to be who you want to be.
Yeah.
And I said, you know how you should look at it? That you're becoming more famous, that these people want to be you. Yeah. You always look at it as a compliment. Yeah. The more negativity, the bigger you get. 100%. That's your definition. She's like, okay, I get it.
It's hard to accept. I have a really good friend. Her name's Karen Floyd. And the other day I said something, I can't take this. It's too much criticism. And she said, it's going to get a lot worse, so get ready. That's what she said.
Well, that's what the mindset, the shifting mindset, I shift everything from being negative to being positive. Yeah. And once you start looking into those things, you're like, oh, great. Give me more.
What's your biggest trick of the day to stay positive? Or what do you do so we can help other people?
You know, I think, that's what my daughter asks, I think I just have no choice. I don't have a choice to fail. Yeah. I mean, I have responsibility. Yeah. I just love life so much that these things don't affect me. Yeah. Like, truly, especially seeing my daughter, not knowing if she survives, like, as a mother, that's everything. Like, now knowing that she's thriving and she's doing so much better, I'm like, why? Why this little thing should even bother me? It's not. Once you go through those, and I always said, like, hey, once you go through divorce, nothing scares me anymore. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because, you know, it's like, and then my daughter thing is like, now it's like, I don't even want to put my energy into these little things. No. I mean, of course, we all once in a while, like, go through the day, but I'm like, okay, I'm giving you 24 hours, sit and cry. Yeah. And then.
We all go through that. Yeah.
And then get your ass back to work, and that's it. Yeah. And it's just. I think
but sometimes you need that 24 hours.
Yes, you do. And you know, it's just like, I literally turn it off. Tomorrow's that day for me. I'm like, turn it off, everything, take my 2 journals, and just peace and quiet. It's like, okay, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And, you know, like, everybody talks about self-love, and I always was like, okay, what's self-love? Like, going to the spa doesn't do it for me. And I realized self-love is just allowing yourself that 24 hours just to sit and quiet, not to answer anything, and just ask yourself, what do you want to do?
I love that. I want people to hear that, because people always say to me, go spend the day at the spa. I'm like, yeah, but that's not getting me anywhere.
Exactly. To me, when I can create something that I feel as a passion, that's what it is. Yeah. And that's the only time I realize I can get to it, when I have to clear my mind completely. Just be like in bed, just turn everything off and just journal. I love journaling. That's why
I love journaling too.
Right.
Yeah.
This is where I find really, it's a true talk to yourself without any, you know, it's like, therapy doesn't do it for me. I'm like, listen, it's like talking to my mom. I come to my mom usually. I'm like, Mom, I need your 30 minutes. I'm just going to talk. I don't need advice. I just need to talk.
Yeah.
Because also when I talk, I hear myself. I'm like, oh, now I got a decision.
Yeah.
Now I know what to do.
That's so interesting because for me, that's kind of like I will ask an opinion, but
Yeah.
it's really because I'm working through it in my head, and I will ultimately go with what I want to do, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to let someone else tell me what to wear or how to act or what to do because that's my decision.
Yes.
And that's been one of the things I think getting older that I realized I used to listen to people and doubt myself, and now I'm like, I'm sorry, you may want that to wear that, or you may want to do that, but I think I'm going to do this. Do you know what and that's
Yes.
that's brought a lot of happiness and success actually in my life to realize that, and I've taught my daughter that because at first I would always try. We grew up in a Nashville, Tennessee, or she grew up in a town that's she doesn't really fit in that town because she's lived all over the world. I mean, she's traveled all over the world. So it was hard for her because she wasn't like, just this perfect, I don't know how to say it. Like she didn't fit in that. She would fit into LA, for example, and she definitely fits into New York, but maybe not Nashville. And so I had to teach her that it doesn't matter. It's one city, right? There's a whole big world out there. And because I showed her that world, and I think it's very important if parents can to show their kids other countries.
Yes.
And other part, because it's not just one area or one city.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a whole
No,
big world.
I love when, I take my kids everywhere to travel just to show them how different the world is. Like, unfortunately, I never went to India, but I went through the whole India on a train, and I was...
You went to India on the train?
Yes.
That's what I want to do. I
And
go to
I
India a
was,
lot, but
you know,
never did the train.
And I was so shocked how these people are so poor and so happy.
They're so happy.
And that's when you start
I know.
realizing you don't need much.
I know. I know.
It's like
It's one of my
this.
favorite countries because of that.
I love, yes.
They're so happy.
They're so happy. They're so kind.
Yeah.
And this is where you're like, okay, like I live in this world of having everything and nobody, even it's like sometimes it's hard for my kids to pick what they want for their birthdays because they have it all already.
Oh, I know.
That's why I love pandemic when it's like, there's nothing. Look at my childhood.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
I loved it. Then you start appreciating things.
Oh, yeah. My childhood, I grew up in a small town. And we didn't have these lavish vacations or every type of clothing or car that you want, right? So, like, I think teaching my kids that part, it's hard when you start having a lot of money, or not a lot, just, I hate to say that, when you start having a lot of things.
Just things.
Yeah. And then you remember, wait a minute, I didn't have those things, but I
Yes.
was still happy. And then you want your kids to want something and work for it
Yes.
and not just have everything. And that's a hard balance.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I even tell my kids, I'm like, listen, I work my whole life for you guys to give you all this.
Yeah.
So it's not your fault. You already have it. You're
Yeah.
going to just have to start. It's much harder for you because you're not starting here. You're starting
Yeah.
here. And you have to want more and you have to achieve more.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to have to be creative. But I also tell them, like, listen, I will let you fail.
Yeah.
Even it's hard for me as a parent, but you need to learn your lessons. And it's much easier to learn your lessons when you're younger, because when you're adult, it's going to cost you money.
A lot of money. Yeah, a lot of money, a lot of
So
pain.
I'm like, learn it as you can while you're with me.
Yeah. Where do they go to school? Are they out of high school?
So my daughter's in high school. My son's still 8th grade in Orange County.
So, and they love it there.
They love it there, and that's where my daughter wants to go to USC.
Yeah.
And we'll see. My son is too young, but she's like me. She knows what she wants.
Yeah.
She knows where to get. She's just, she does philanthropy. She has her own foundation after what she
Yeah.
went through. So she's good. I feel like it's the boys that mature a little bit
Slower. Oh, definitely. I have 3 of them,
And I was
so
like,
I know.
You're 13, but it's like, it was so funny. He plays on this game, and I'm like, Josh, if you spend so much time on this thing, you better start making money.
Yeah.
We
We have the official, we have a product called Zero N that's the official, like, adaptogenic, like, energy product for the gaming community, for the parents.
Oh.
Yeah. Because, e-gaming is a huge deal now. People make money. It's getting ready to be in the
he's like,
Olympics,
Mom, if
I
I'm
think.
good, people will pay money.
They
to
will.
play games. I'm like, okay, Josh, so get good. Just
Yeah,
start. just do something.
Well, it's hard because that wasn't a thing, 20 years ago or 10 years ago. And now
Yes.
it's like people can make more money in that sport
Yes.
than some of them than playing baseball or basketball. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
So
No, and I have the type of mom. I don't tell my kids no. I just say, listen, if you waste your time on this,
Yeah.
It has to have a purpose.
Yes, of course. Of course.
Otherwise, it's like you're really wasting your life.
Yeah.
That's what it comes to.
But you're showing in the purpose because look what you've done. Look what you're
Yes.
doing. So what is the...
And
what
you know what my son did when he went to his dad? He comes back home with 2 checks, like 500, 400. I'm like, Josh, where's the money from? He's like, well, you said to make money. I was just betting dad is I'm really good at it. I'm like, okay. Never mind. We good. But it teaches them, it
I
starts
agree.
thinking
Yeah.
how to make money, which
Yeah.
I love.
Yes.
You know, it's like, it's not about that. It's about starting moving your brain in a direction.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, mom wants me to make money. What am I good at?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really good at this.
Yes. I feel like I put so much pressure on my kids. Sometimes like my 21-year-old, I'm not expecting my 21-year-old to be a millionaire today. And, they're fortunate because they have different things we have. But I expect them to work hard towards their goals and to be the best people they can be because that will give them a purpose much greater than anything else. They really have to know what they're doing and what the mission is, right?
Yes.
And when I say mission, I say this constantly. If you decide you want to clean homes for a living, that's your
Yeah.
choice, and I mean that.
Exactly.
'Cause
Everybody has their level.
Yeah.
What they need, what
What they want.
But they have to be happy and
Yeah.
they have to be fulfilled.
Yeah, because listen, that India is a great example. They have street cleaners, right, that are always smiling, always happy, and they make the streets cleaner than they used to be because I used to go to India and it was really dirty, and now they've cleaned a lot of it up. So you're teaching your kids these fundamental things that are amazing, and I love the book that you wrote. I'm going to read it, by the way. I really am, and I'm going to hopefully have you back on and we can talk about the book because I think people should understand what they have in front of them. And divorce, you have about 50% of the people going through a divorce, and they're lost.
Statistically, 70% of women who are filing.
I know.
And they don't know what to do.
Yeah. But my whole thing is their life is changing, life is different, and we have to prepare for it. And we have to do the things that we need to do to make our lives happy, so that we can be the beautiful people that we are to help the rest of the world. I really believe that.
Yeah.
If you're not happy, then you're not able to help other people.
Exactly.
And I really mean that.